Hello everyone, this is Jason from Iron Mission. Hey, we got to talk about the motorcycle right behind me. It's the Ninja 650. If you're a beginner, you're in the right place. Even if you're not, you're looking for a more mellow sport bike, this is also a really good option. Let's go take a look and go for a ride. All right, so here it is. This is the Ninja 650. I got this motorcycle because my younger son is learning how to ride. When we take it for a ride, I'm going to talk a lot more about why I think this is a great motorcycle if you are in the market for maybe you're new to riding. There's a lot to like about this bike. It's a sport bike. It's got that nice sport bike look. It's a full-sized sport bike, so if you're a larger person, taller, it's going to work out better for you than maybe some of the more beginner, smaller bikes. But even if you're not a gigantic person, this is still a really solid option. And it's one I think it's certainly worth considering here. It's got the TFT screen. It's got a lot of your rider controls that we'll talk about later. It's got nice big dual front disc brakes, which a lot of your beginner motorcycles do not have. And it just looks nice. A full fairing bike that looks good, comfortable seat. And so, like I said, we're going to take this thing for a ride. I'll share with you my thoughts. So I got this bike for my son. He is now the fourth person in our family who's learning, or the fourth person who's riding, and he's learning how to ride. And so we looked at this, we looked at the Ninja 500 as well. And so as I go through this riding review, I'm going to kind of bring that in because I'm sure that is a bike that you're looking at. And I want to say from the start, now this MSRP is for around $7,600. A base 500 is around $5,400. So it's a couple $1,000s more. However, we bought this as a new 24 for $6,300. And at that point, the 500 SC ABS is a little bit more, and this was a no-brainer at that point. So you'll have to consider what I'm going over today, if that's worth the extra money. And I think there are some strong points to be made here. I love the Ninja 500. It's definitely a bike that you should look at. This is the 650. And so as the 650, it's a larger motorcycle, weighing in 423 pounds, where the Ninja 500 would be right around 370. So it's a heavier motorcycle, but it's a larger bike. Now, I'm 5'9". Keep that in mind as we're going through this video. But my son is 6'1", 190 pounds. He's a bodybuilder guy. And when he sat on the Ninja 500, it did look a little bit small for him. And so this bike definitely fit his stature more. So if you're taller, a little bit of a larger person, you're probably going to want to look at this motorcycle. Obviously, one of the big differences is the power. This is kicking out 67 horsepower, 49 foot-pounds of torque, where the Ninja 500 is only at 50 and 34. So this is a little bit more powerful bike, but in no way is this bike overpowering. So if you are a beginner, this is not going to be something that is just going to be way too much to handle. It does have dual front discs and a single rear, where the 500 only has a single front brake disc. So keep that in mind. This does have ABS available. The model that I'm riding here is not equipped with ABS. Top speed's going to be a little bit more here at 130 miles an hour. Why is this important? Because when you are passing people on a highway or in two-lane traffic, you're going to want sometimes that extra horsepower, that extra torque at the top end. It's got a 0 to 60 of around 4 seconds. Again, it's nothing super crazy. Definitely a motorcycle that a beginner can handle. Seat height's 31 inches, so it's a reasonable seat height. Again, me 5'9", I can easily flat foot this bike, no problems whatsoever. Fuel capacity is right around 4 gallons. And what's crazy about this bike is it is averaging around 50 miles per gallon, which is outstanding, which you would expect from this smaller parallel twin. There's got tons of rider aids. You got the Bluetooth, you got traction control. You can get ABS. Like I said, we don't have it here. The slipper clutch is really nice for beginners. It does have this nice TFT screen, super easy to read, which is pretty awesome. I wish they had the USB port as standard, but it's something that you can easily add, and it's something we will be adding, but it does not come standard. Now, riding this motorcycle, the first thing that came to mind the minute I jumped on this bike and rode it home, extremely comfortable motorcycle, especially within its class. The seat is nice and cushy. It's got a great rider triangle. So again, if you're someone who's considering that Ninja 500, this is a little bit more relaxed riding position. The seat, in my opinion, is a little bit comfortable. The rider triangle is a little bit nicer, with the handlebars being further up, foot pegs being a little bit further down. And so this is a bike that you can absolutely, in my opinion, take this on a day trip and you're probably going to be just fine. There is some wind protection here, and you can always get a larger windshield, but I find this to be a more enjoyable ride, at least in terms of wind protection, even compared to my ZH2. And so that's nice. There is some vibration, as you would expect at a motorcycle of this price point, just like there would be the Ninja 500. You feel a little bit coming through the handlebars, coming through the foot pegs. Not a lot. It's definitely not anything it's just gonna wear you out as you're riding. But you can feel it compared to like a higher end sport bike or a cruiser or something like that. But the size of this motorcycle and the rider triangle sold me pretty much instantly. I absolutely love the suspension on this motorcycle. It's not sports suspension, so if you're looking for that harder suspension for real hardcoring, this is not the bike for you. You should be looking at maybe the Ninja 400, double R. But this has got a great suspension. I love the comfort of it. Reminds me a lot of my Pan America in terms of how comfortable the suspension is, which is really nice. So something to keep in mind there. Again, the performance here, I would say it's a decently quick bike for everyday use, but it is not at all scary. I would say it's a relatively tame motorcycle. So again, if you're a beginner and you're worried about that, that is not something I would be super concerned about on this particular motorcycle. I love the braking. The braking is strong, it's predictable, as is the acceleration. A very predictable motorcycle, as my son has gone through and has learned all his parking lot drills, and now he's starting to transition onto the road. This has been a really nice bike for him to learn on. He's done very, very well in the real slow speed stuff and the turning from a stop and that kind of thing. The one other thing to consider is if you've got a passenger at some point in the future, this is going to be a much better bike for a passenger than, let's say, the Ninja 500 or the Yamaha R3 or one of these really, the smaller bikes. The passenger seat on this motorcycle is pretty darn decent. The lights, both the headlights, tail lights the headlights work great. Tail lights, turn signals, very, very visible. The placement of the mirrors is outstanding. It allows you to see very, very clearly, and I think part of that is because they're so far up, makes it a lot easier to see traffic on either side, and even a little bit behind you. It's not that mirror setup where your shoulders and your elbows are going to be completely blocking everything from behind. The bike has a nice sound. I wouldn't say it's obnoxious or anything like that. I mean, you've got a stock muffler on these things. You really can't hear them. And so if you want to hear this bike, you're probably going to want to put on aftermarket exhaust on there. And it does sound pretty decent being that parallel twin. It's something that, is it going to be screaming like an inline 4 or a Harley Davidson? Absolutely not, but it definitely has a nice sound. When it comes to the placement of the turn signals and the horn and everything, it's a pretty standard layout, just like most motorcycles, and very consistent with what you're seeing in the Kawasaki family. Again, for a beginner, it's going to be very intuitive, very easy to use. The TFT screen is very intuitive as well. And so it's nice because you have an actual switch for your bright lights and your low beams, which is convenient. I would say it's a little bit easier to find than on other motorcycles, but all of the switches and stuff, very, very easy to deal with. So if I were to summarize why you would choose this over something smaller like a Ninja 500 or the R3 or the Tuono, this bike is going to be a little bit larger, especially if you're somebody who's a little bit on the taller side. It's going to give you a little bit more space to stretch out, which is really nice. If you're going to be doing longer rides at higher speeds, this is definitely a bike you should consider over those smaller motorcycles. It's a bike that you will not grow out of as fast as some of those other bikes, especially the R3 and some of these smaller displacement motorcycles. So you might have this for 2 or 3 or 4 seasons. I know people who just get this bike and they keep it because it is such a comfortable motorcycle to ride. It's a very appealing bike. It's very predictable. It's not a bike that you're going to be running around on one wheel and scaring yourself on necessarily, because it just doesn't have that kind of power, and that's a really great thing for somebody who is a beginner and someone who just wants a more relaxed ride in general, who doesn't want to be all cramped up on a sport bike, but still wants the fairing, still wants the look. It's a great looking motorcycle. As always, thank you so much for being here. Ride safe for everybody. If you want more information on some other Kawasaki bikes like the ZH2, check out those videos in the upper and lower right hand corner. We'll see you next week.